Okay, now for the great joy of there's nothing else going on tonight, so going to probably run some missions in Delvings and then probably go back to the Minstrel in Gundabad because I'd kind of like to have that character leveled. I have subscriber buff still, so we're good there. Let's see. So I'm coming close to finishing the mission wrappers, and these are going to get me things like Embers of Enchantments, or the Delving wrappers specifically. So these will give me things like Embers of Enchantments, or for just the normal 15 of any kind, a Consumables Delving selection box, and that lets you get purple essence boxes. And the other mission wrappers, I think I'm 12 on both, so at the very least I'll be able to do enough to get another 500 embers there. So starting out on the champ, I'll be able to make some decent progress towards getting embers and get some gearboxes going. And we'll start with Andrath and see what missions are rolling there. And the nice thing is, 3 of my level 150 characters are all heavy armor users, so I've got a pretty easy way to basically just hand gear back and forth between them. So I'll be able to run decently geared characters through missions. Okay, so good. Tombs of Gondorkal is an awesome one of these to run with Delvings enabled, even though right now is kind of an awkward time for that, and we're not really going to get good gear or rewards from it, aside from progressing the wrapper and potentially a halfway decent drop at the end. Now you got chances, but you don't have the teal delving gear like we were getting for a while. But Tombs of Gondorkal is a great one because it is all solo pulls. So there's no chance that you're going to be surrounded by mobs that are also causing problems. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this one at tier 7, which used to be the kind of default at level cap. Right now, tier 6 is really the only thing that's truly worth doing because it progresses the high level deed wrapper, but doesn't add in the next layer up of difficulty or annoyance, depending on which malices you get. But tier 7, shits and giggles. Tombs is a good one to run a little bit higher than you normally would. So currently we know we have debilitating miasma, which means that when I'm up close on the enemies, they're going to be debuffing me, which not that big of a deal. And health poultices, which means that these guys are going to basically have a heal over time effect on themselves. That is easily a heal that I can just DPS through. So we'll see if they get an additional... Yep, okay, so their other one is going to be... Okay, so they've got damage adaptation going, which means what I want to do, now that I know that that's going to be the third effect, is I'm going to want to pull them initially with a bow shot, because that's going to give me... instead of incoming melee damage reduction, it'll give me incoming ranged damage reduction as their damage reduction effect. So that's where I'm going to want to start out there. Oh, for a second, I got something yelling at me. Joy of having a machine in the background that's running tests. So, now that we know the 3 malices for today, start this guy off with a bow shot so that I don't have physical damage reduction on him, and I can basically just blast straight through him. And this is what makes Tombs just such a nice delving run, is all these guys are one at a time. So there's no ganging up on me in here. I just have to make sure that on each of these guys I lead off with, at the very least, an auto attack from the bow. That hits. It can't be one that misses, because they have to take damage from it. Oh, Creeping Doom is about to go off here. So I'll just eat the stun. And while my hunter is actually good at landing shots while moving, champ, not so much. Okay, he just didn't want to get the bow shot off, didn't want to pull the bow out. So I still have the purge corruption there. There's malice, rather. So unfortunately, run and shoot is not a strength of the champ. I'm basically going to miss every bow shot I take while I'm running like this. So you have to stand still and get that initial shot in. Okay, 2 more of these guys, and then I'll have the big bad up on the hill. And that'll be the end of this one. Right, clearly I missed... There we are. Missed a red dot somewhere. And this guy will have the same ability to do the damage reduction, so get a quick swipe to purge that off. And with malices like this, there's really not anything to worry about once you've got that 1 damage reduction peeled off of him.
What do you need?
So that was the last one I needed for the Delve into Darkness. That one gives me Embers of Enchantment, a Legendary Enhancement Rune, and an Incomparable Enhancement Rune, and some Virtue XP. And it also progresses the mission wrapper for the week and the regular, just any difficulty delving for the week. So let's check the delving chest. It's probably going to be crap, and it was a box of crafting materials. So the crummiest of the loots, but at the very least I can sell stuff in there or disenchant the box for delving writs if I need them, which I don't right now, but when we actually get stuff to spend delving writs on again one of these days, it'll be handy. Go ahead and open up those rune boxes to get those into my carry-all. And if Tombs is up, that means that Tearful Tomb will also be up.
Speak with you a moment?
And this one, because I've finished the Delve into Darkness, now I just have the Delve Deeper, which is any tier of delvings, 15 within the week, to get the consumable box. So I can just run this one at tier 1. I don't have to care about putting it any higher than that. And tier 1 delving is barely more difficult than just running this one at default level, so I should pretty much blast through here. And there's our Stairs Wanderer. At the lower tier difficulty, these guys on the platform right up here should not auto pull an ad, so I can just walk right by them. A couple of guys here. And even though they're the ones that drop the fire pots, just being at tier 1 and having a decent amount of tactical mitigation, I don't really have to worry about like immediately getting out of the fire. I can stand in there for a little bit. Poor gang leader tried to spend all that time casting a heal on his buddy who I already killed. It's a good idea, just did not pan out for you. And that's that. This one, unless you're at one of the tiers where you have a chance for the mobs to have the increased aggro range malice, you can skip almost the entirety of the goblins. You really just need to get down to the lower level and kill the goblin gang boss.
Greetings.
And this will definitely be junk in that box. Got some torn craftsman diaries, yay.
What can I do for you?
But again, not doing it for the reward, more just doing it because it moves that weekly mission wrapper forward.
What can I do for you?
Nothing else really there that I want to do. Because if these two are in the rotation, that means that things like Bridge isn't there. Okay, let's see what we get here. So,
Stay a moment.
bite the hand, I believe, is a pretty decent one to do, if I remember right. I might be forgetting, and this is not one of the ones that I like. Okay, nope, this one's solid. So, again, put it to tier 1, because I don't need it any higher than that to keep moving the wrapper forward. And here's the boss and his two buddies. Quick stun and make quick work of these guys. That's that.
What do you need? What can I do for you?
So that finishes the 15 weekly mission wrapper, which is another 500 Embers of Enchantment. Getting me back up close to 5k because I spent some the other day. And hey, the tier 1 delving chest actually paid off. It got me a teal tracery. So that'll, if nothing else, be something that'll be worth disenchanting down into some ancient script. See, I think sifting, yeah, sifting through time is solid. This is another one that's pretty quick to burn through. And I still need 3 more delvings, so we'll put this at tier 1. And go kill some orcs and dig through rubble piles. Almost missed one. Why am I still in combat? Ew. Pesky orcs. And I'm a little bit poisoned, but it's not doing enough damage to really even dent my health, so I'll just let that one tick down rather than wasting a cleanse on it. And the last artifact pile will be right here. And that gives me 12 of 12.
Megovanen.
And Delving Box gave me box crafting gems into the crafting carryall.
Megovanen.
And a Plague of Men is not bad to do, so I'll just do that real quick. Because again, this another one's pretty quick to burn through. The thing that always gets me in this one is you have to collect these unsecured supplies and destroy them. I always forget this one right at the beginning because I start killing too quickly. And I get distracted. And normally I'd be much more careful about pulling the groups of mobs in here, but again, running it at tier 1. Not terribly worried about dying, unless of course I do something heroically stupid. And in that case, it is entirely my fault, and I will know what caused me to die. He has the high ground, but I have the bigger sword. In this case, sword wins. Okay, so there's 4 more of the supplies up here, which means all the rest of them are going to be down on the lower level still. So I just need to find the last 3. And often that's going to be 1 or 2 along the walls here. It's like just 1. And then the other 2 are probably on the other side at the end of this passageway, which is also where I should find a couple of mobs. And there we go. 1 down and 2 down.
What do you need? What can I do for you?
More gems, and I don't want to do either of the Thorbad missions, so we'll go see what's in Clicker. Let's see, among the watchtowers, we will do that one. I think I need, what, one more delving to finish that wrapper? Yep, one more delving, so we will do this. And I get to blow up some guard towers now. Get lost in the scenery. And a lot of times it's easiest just to clear out this entire bottom level here before you actually plant any of the charges. Especially if, like the champion, you kind of want to keep that fervor generation up and rolling. The longer you stay in combat on the champ, the better you are. Breaks in combat means your fervor starts falling off. Okay, there's one tower blown up. Here's two. And circle back around and get the one by the entrance. Then all the rest of these guys are going to be up further up the hill. I'll have one by the big tent halfway up, or two by the big tent halfway up rather, and then all the rest will be up top. And barrels will be inside the big tent here. Do wish you could carry more than one at a time to blow up the towers, but I suppose that's unrealistic. I also think they might not intend for you to blow things up quite as quickly as this guy does in here. That's his difficulty. There we go. 5 of 8. My last 3 are going to be up at the very top. Which means I can walk all the way past those guys and the ones on the other ridge there. I just care about right up here and right at the end. for up here. And take care of these two pests. Didn't have to carry that barrel very far. And here will be 8 of 8. And no go, talk to the scout and get the heck out of here, which should be my last of the Delvings I need to run. And there
Just
we
a
go.
moment. Is there something I can do for you?
So that gets me the consumables delving selection box, and in that you have your choice of 5 morale or power potions, both solid options. But again, I can buy those with writs, and I'm capped on delving writs again. Hope tokens, which I can craft better hope tokens for functionally nothing. Or these, the Seafarer's Flickering Essence boxes, which gets you purple versions of the current essences. So yeah, that is the easy choice from the reward for that wrapper. And now a quick jaunt over to the Bloody Eagle Tavern. So I still want to make some progress on this 18 of 45 weekly mission wrapper. I'm definitely not going to complete it, but I'm just going to run 2 or 3 of these, do the cherry pick, run the quick and easy ones. So one of those is Beast of Belphilus. Because this one, again, is very quick and straightforward. I don't need to run it as a delving anymore, because I'm done with those for the week. Which means I can just absolutely plow through this place. This is the big guy here. Big guy being maybe a little bit of a misnomer on this difficulty. And go collect my reward. And pat the dwarf on the head.
There is much to be done.
That is Snor, one of our hunters, who is probably doing missions in here as well. So, Taste for Crab is another one of these that is actually quick to get through. On the non-delving version, that is. So we'll burn through it real quick. So all you have to do is basically kill some of the great crabs and empty some crab traps, then kill the big crab boss at the end. Who's not even as hard as the proto crab on Bal Inzul. Okay, I'll gather up a few of these guys here. Even when I'm not in an AoE spec, I still have plenty of AoE to just eat these guys alive. So that already has me at 5 of 8 from the great crabs. And I do need one more great crab, but I can get this one right here. I don't even have to go further up the beach. 2 more crab traps are this one and the one right down the beach. This guy's just going to be asking for trouble, so... Sorry, buddy, you were extra. And I do feel kind of bad because, as they just said, the crab cast mother is coming out to get vengeance for her children, who I just brutally murdered for their claws. I'm sorry, your kids are tasty. I'd feel bad, but I just really don't. And I went through that so quickly that the game is still trying to catch up with me being done and ready to turn the quest in. One thing you learn about Lotro is sometimes you gotta wait. There we go.
Might you spare a moment?
So that puts me at 20 of 45. And from over here, Natural
Do you have need of
Disaster
something?
is a quick one to run. Hey Poteen, how's it going, man? Just doing a quick bit of getting some of my wrappers done for the week. Working on getting those, working on getting my Embers of Enchantment built back up, because I got almost to the point where I had them capped at 10k, so I had to buy a few gearboxes, and now getting them back up. This is one of those weeks where I am glad that the work week is over. I don't know about you, but the crazy was out in full force this week. So I am here killing Huorns and basically decompressing. Champion is just a beast on these. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in, if I was really doing yard work, I'd be in my yellow spec. I'm in red line right now. But I would be in the yellow spec lawnmower to take care of the trees, which would be much more appropriate. So yeah, this is really more like, you know, edge work. Don't think I passed any. Nope, doesn't look like it. This is one that can either be really quick if you get them all wandering in the right spots, or if they're wandering into inconvenient spots and wandering all the way around the map, it can be a whole ordeal going all over and rounding them up to finish. But these are my last two here, and then the big tree comes out, and we call it a done. One more. And yes, I did one-shot that poor guy. And big guy down. Nice, and he dropped a physical mitigation essence too, which always does good for filling out tank gear. Yeah, right. He should have worked much harder at his tree spec. Would that be yellow line? Is there a green line? And once again, I finished and got out of here quickly enough that the quest system hasn't caught up yet, so I can't even turn it in. But that'll happen. That's funny because these quests here, they give you these rep items, you know, rep consumables. In this case, it's for the it's for your chosen allegiance. And unlike, for example, the Gundabad rep items and things like that, all the general base game stuff where you can alt-right click and, you know, eat them in a bunch, these ones you do have to do one at a time. I don't know why they went back to that design for these. It's really weird and kind of awkward. And we'll do Dark Treasure. This one I will go lawnmower spec on, just because these guys are so closely packed together. We'll swap to Yellow Line Champ. Put on my Yellow Line Sword. Because I am that big of a nerd, I keep multiple legendary items for different builds. It is kind of bad when you've done some of these often enough that you know where all the stealth mobs can be expected to be and you stop and wait for them to show up. Okay, all you guys are gathered. Now you get lawnmowered. And this one guy just wants to sit here at the edge and shoot me. Ghosts pop out. Ghosts get lawn mown. Oh, that is really tempting. I thought about making coffee, but I went with tea for the evening because I don't plan to go too late tonight. Okay, there we go. System is caught up, and I can turn in the quest. And all the rest I'm just going to ignore, because they're ones I don't particularly like, and I can be a picky jerk. Oh, there's Snore again. Stop, salute, and flex at her. And, okay, that should be the end of those. Which means I can bounce over to Howrax, turn in my tasks to keep moving the legendary item track along, because the tasks you turn in get you a significant amount of progress towards that. Oop, and I, of course, absolutely clicked the wrong travel skill. I want to go someplace that has a high-level bounty board. And for an idea of how much these tasks move the tracker along, my current one I'm doing right now is just a few pixels started. So I'm going to turn in 10 tasks. Go, there was 5 and then another 5. And just those 10 tasks, nothing else, went from being barely into this one to almost at the end of the bar. So 10 tasks at level cap gets you, what, 70% of one of the legendary box fills. It's pretty solid for things that you're going to be collecting anyway. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the task item carry all back in. And because I can cheat and do things like this, I am going to just transfer a bunch of account-bound heavy armor pieces into my shared storage. I think the only thing on this character that is not account-bound right now is earring, rings, and these boots, I believe are, yep, those are crafter boots. So everything else can go in storage here. And then when I swap over to my Guardian, I can basically just poach that gear out of shared storage and get a quick set of high-level gear that I can use running stuff on that, rather than having to fully gear each of my heavy armor characters. If the Lotro client decides it doesn't want to crash out on me, because there's always that. There we go. It has stopped arguing and let me switch characters. Yeah, I'm just in the process of swapping over from my champ to my guardian. Gonna pull out all the gear from the bank, all the account bound stuff I was using on the champ, toss it onto the guardian, and go see where I'm at on Delvings right now. So let's see, I still need to do 2 of the any tier. So I must have been running Delvings on this character previously because I don't have the tier 6 plus. So I'm going to grab my universal ingredients. Always, always, every day, stop by somebody's house who has these crates for free stuff. And just go borrow a bunch of gear. It's no big deal. It's one of the reasons why I leave the crates in my yard open to anybody who stops by. I have them basically publicly usable. There's actually a few people in this housing neighborhood specifically who use them. I'm basically like, especially if you're VIP, so you can use both of the crates. They're store purchases. I've bought them with Lotro points over the years. I tend to try and catch them. I think I caught both of these while they were on sale. But you know, if you have VIP, especially so you can use the premium ingredient crate and the regular one, it's 9 universal ingredient packs per day per character who's at least level 15 if you just cycle them through and grab ingredient packs. Like, that means that when you want to level crafting, like right now, I have 26,875 universal ingredient packs, and I just burned a bunch the other day restocking consumables. So over time, for me, it's absolutely paid off. And for, you know, everybody I know who comes by the house and uses them. Yeah, I know. I'm under 30,000, so I got to start rationing them. Starting to become slightly concerning. Okay, 1 hearing, adventure, pocket, and back. There we go. Quick kitting out of the guardian here, because I can just replace all of her normal running around stuff that's, you know, leveling and questing gear for the most part with the 510 to 512 teals and purples. And just like I did on the champ. Oh, that's right. This character does not have the Andrath travel skill. I have to go to Bree first. So because, let's see, do I have subscriber buffs? Yes, subscriber buffs are still good.
Hello there.
Because one of the Delvings today is Tombs of Gondor Call, I'm just going to go ahead and run that one on a high difficulty because it's fun for giggles.
Greetings.
But I got to get there first. So Delvings, I know, are going to be something that you haven't had the chance to mess around with yet, because they're things that you can only basically turn on and run when you're running them with level capped characters. Basically, Delvings are certain of the missions you can run on Delving difficulty, as well as some of the instances, which basically means I'd like to make this more difficult for myself. Oh, okay, good. So I do have Delve into Darkness weekly. I just hadn't picked it up. So basically, there's a wrapper quest weekly where if you do at least 10 Delvings at tier 6 or higher, you get this set of rewards here, which is 250 Delving Writs, 500 Embers of Enchantment. That's the reason I do it, honestly. Some enhancement runes and some virtue XP. So, gonna accept that. So I've got the wrapper started, and because I am capped on Delving Writs again, because I'm an idiot and have not been keeping up on spending them when I get close, I'm just gonna drop a few, buying some morale potions. The cool thing about the Delving morale potions that you buy here, they're not all that great. They're just 15% of your max morale. So, you know, I mean, it's useful, but it's not as big necessarily as some of the really nice ones. But they don't share a cooldown with the normal health potions. So I can put these on my bar, and if I use, like, I got all these dumb Gundabad ones I need to... Yeah, I'm actually going to show you what they are as soon as I go in, so you can see what it is and what they do. But you can see, like, I've got these Gundabad Athlos essences, which I, for some reason, still have on this character, even though they're 150. If I use one of those, it does not put the Delving health potion on cooldown. So the Delving morale potions, even though they don't heal for a ton... Hey, good to see you in, YB. Apologize for the language barrier, but I hope it's at least... I hope the visuals are entertaining. But yeah, so the nice thing about the morale potions from the Delvings are you can... you have one more healing item that doesn't share a cooldown with the regular potions. So I'm going to go into a mission, which is the Tombs of Gondor Call.
Could I speak with you a moment?
And that's just one of the missions that comes from the Andrath camp. Yeah, I like it too. I got thousands of hours in the game. It's not healthy. So there are these Delving stones here, where basically you can talk to them if you are at the level cap. So this is a level cap character, which is why I can do this. And you can set it to increasingly higher levels of difficulty. And what it does is it's going to put extra effects in this mission for me to deal with. Because this is Tombs, this specific mission, I love because it's very easily manageable. I'm going to go ahead and do it at tier 7. and I already have a stone to do that. So the delving stone goes away, and a vile malice spreads through the area. A dread effect will be in play. The higher difficulty you set it to, the more dread you'll get. So I'm going to pop a hope token to counteract that. And I'm also going to make sure that I have my consumables used. And what it does is it gives the enemies, the higher tier you set it to, it gives them some general buffs. It just generally makes them tougher as well as put out more damage. But there are also what are called malices. And the higher you set it, the more malices there will be. I put it on tier 7, so there will be 3 different malices that the enemies have. So I've got this warrior selected, but I'm not too far. I'm not close enough that he's aggroing. So he has the health poultices effect, which means that when he's in combat, he will heal 1600 morale every 3 seconds. So that is a very manageable malice to have. There is the debilitating miasma effect, which just means that when I'm close to him, I'm going to have a debuff on me. Again, it is not a bad one. He also has all of these various different bonuses, like the normal delving strength here. You can see that basically at tier 7, he has 300% extra outgoing damage and almost twice as much base morale. So he's a bit of a beefy boy with the settings I have going. The third malice for today is what I'm going to do to him right now. Because I know what it is, I'm going to start with a bow shot, which triggered his physical adaptation ranged. And I'm just going to kill him off here real quick. So the first damage type that the mobs take when this is one of the malices, they will immediately adapt to and gain a 50% incoming damage reduction to. So as a melee character, if I walk right up to him and just whack him, like right from the start, I've just strongly debuffed myself until I purge that off of him. But because I know what it is, I can just start off with a bow shot and cheese him. So quick ranged attack to set the malice to what I want. And finish him off. Tombs of Gond Orcal, this particular mission here, as well as one of the other missions that also comes from Andrath, which is Nettenglade. These 2 missions are really great for starting to do delvings when you get to this level, because they're very easy to do one enemy at a time. You can arrange everything or almost everything in them to just be one fight at a time. And that's really important because some of the different malices for the day will be things like area of effects, either ground damage or enemies which make each other stronger by being near each other. And so if you get like 3 or 4 of them all clustered together at a high difficulty, they're basically mini bosses. But Tombs is just really easily manageable, so it's one of my favorites for easy runs. The other, oh, I think I just let the stun hit me. Yep. The other thing that Delvings are good for, they're not good for right now because we're kind of between gear cycles. But when the raids are in game, so when we get our new raid that should be coming in with hopefully sometime this quarter, the Delvings usually will have a level of gear introduced to them that you can either get dropped in the higher difficulties or buy with those Delving Writ currencies that are just nice teal gear that's not raid tier, but is definitely get you into a raid tier gear. So this is a great way to gear characters or alts when it's in the middle of an instance cycle. You don't get to stun me, silly skeleton. And Tombs is nice and easy because you basically just go one at a time and take care of each of these jerks, and then the big guy up on the hill. But you do want to make sure that you actually do some damage with the range shot if you're doing your setting of the physical adaptation for them. It only triggers on them the first time they take damage, not the first time you attack them. So if you miss all your shots and then go into melee, they've got melee damage reduction already on them. So then you have to waste a cooldown purging it off of them. But just your normal corruption purge skills do work for it. So it's actually not bad at all on the Guardian because Sting is your corruption purge, and that is quick and has a very short cooldown. It's not like something like the Runekeeper where you do have 2 corruption purges, but they're each on a 30-second cooldown and can miss or fail. Last archer. Yeah. You love the dragonets. All right, now there's going to be the big boss up top here, who with today's combination of malices is not really a big of a boss as he thinks he is. Stunned. Hit him with the big stick. Hit him with the bigger stick. And finish him off shortly. And that's that. Now I go turn him in. So this is why this particular mission for delving difficulty is always my recommendation for people who get to the level cap and want to start doing delvings, because it is, in my opinion, the most manageable of them. Unless you decide you want to, you are never going to have more than one enemy at a time to deal with.
Greetings.
So we turn in the delving quest, which is its own quest here, and yep, so the reward was 30 delving writs and a box o' crafting materials, which I'm just going to stash. I'll do something with them later.
What can I do for you?
And the other one here,
For me?
because I am a picky jerk, I very much pick and choose which missions and which delvings I do at each one of these locations, because I only do the ones I like to do at the difficulties I want to do them at. So this one I'm just going to do at tier 1. So, which means it's not going to progress. It's not going to progress this wrapper here, the complete tier 6 or higher, so it won't make any progress on that. But it will make progress on this one here, which is the Delve Deeper, which is any tier of Delvings, 15 per week, which gets you some writs, some Virtue XP, and a consumable selection box, which has which you can select essence boxes from to get essences to slot into your gear for stats. And that's really what I want them for. So you can see at tier 1, there's almost no extra effects. The mobs are just barely stronger. It is almost like running the missions at a regular difficulty. The mobs just are slightly buffed. They've got a little bit of a debuff effect around them, and they've got like a 20% bump to their health and damage. So easily doable. And this one here, I mean, it's also the Hobbit muscles. Like, let's be honest. This one here also, because it is an objective mission as opposed to a kill everything, I don't actually have to run and do all the side rooms. I just need to completely miss that guy and let him run away. I just need to be able to get down here and kill the gang leader. So you don't have to kill the entire place, you just have to play the objective. And now I get to sprint back out and talk to the scout to leave. It's another reason why I like this one at lower levels. We do hate them goblinses. Another nice thing about the various delvings too is because they technically take place in the area they're set in. If you have a Slayer deed for them, like, you know, a Goblin Slayer deed in the Cardolan zone, goblins in these missions count towards that Slayer deed. Uruks in the missions count towards them. Yeah. So we turn in those.
What do you need?
And this character was already almost done with the regular mission wrappers, so there we go. Turn that in. And the consumables delving box has 4 things you can select. Either 5 universal morale or power potions, which I usually don't take because I just spend delving writs to get those if I want them. Hope tokens, which are just the crappy 5 hope, nothing else effect. And for me, because I have a ton of crafting materials, I just craft better ones. These are the good ones right here, the Seafarer's Flickering Essence boxes. So that's what I'm going to select. And these are where you can select all your slottable armor essences. So like in this case, it would be, you know, like if I wanted the physical mitigation essence, here's my slottable 2379 physical mit. But this is kind of an easy source for purple quality essences.
Hello there.
So it's a really good way to kind of help fill out some of your gear. And that's really what I'm doing these for, intend to do these for, is it's getting the Embers of Enchantment for buying gear, and these essence boxes for filling out the gear with the essences, because all of these pieces tend to have at least one essence slot in them. You started it at whatever the current level cap is. So right now it's 150. It used to be 140. The missions themselves can be started at 20 if you have either VIP or the region pack for the content. So if you have Before the Shadow, for example, you can come here to Hearn and you can do these missions. You just can't run them at the higher difficulty unless you're at the level cap. And the really unfortunate thing is that what we used to be able to get were things like, this is the old level 140 gear that we could get. So you can see it's good quality teal level 140 gear with good stats and essence slots. So this is how a lot of us geared up or filled in gear gaps at 140 while we were doing the Return to Karn Doom and things like that. So this was a great way to gear your characters and just kind of keep competitive or get them ready to start doing higher difficulty content. Was you had this as a method to get yourself decent teal quality gear. We don't have purple or teal versions yet of the new 150. Best gear still generally comes from the higher tier raids, yeah, because that's where you're going to get the good set pieces and things like that. That or the like crafted and then upgraded stuff like that. But generally raids pretty consistently good source of armor as long as you're doing them at the higher tiers. But because we don't have the Corsairs of Umbar raids or even instances yet, Standing Stone has not given us anything other than the yellow quality 150 gear for the Delvings, which isn't even as good as your landscape questing gear that you get while you're leveling through Umbar. So right now, Delvings are not a source of gear themselves. They're a source of embers and essences. So we'll do Bite the Hand. What they've said is that their intention is when the instances, the dungeons, and the raid come out, at that time or a little after, they'll put the next tier of delving gear in, because that'll be our gear up for it. So I don't know if it's going to come right when they do that, or if they're going to give the, at the very least, the raid some time to be out before they start giving us the gear up mechanic of the delvings. But they've said that they very much do not intend to have the actual good delving gear in the game until, at the very least, that raid is out. Because again, their intention with it is an alternate way to gear yourself up with good enough to raid gear, good enough to start raiding. Which makes sense. It's just frustrating because we've had Corsairs of Umbar for so long at this point that a lot of us are sitting at 150 going, come on, I want to be able to really gear up, not just kind of, halfway gear up. And another thing that we're all expecting them to do, because they did it last time as well, like right now, the gear you buy with the embers, I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it's item level 510 to 512 sometimes if you roll really lucky teal. I'm fully expecting that when the new instance cluster comes out and the delving gear is introduced and we start having access to that better stuff, the gear that comes out of the Embers chests, I think they're probably going to bump the item level on that up as well, like they did previously. So it kind of hurts because you're like, okay, I need to gear myself up, so I'm going to get Embers and spend them, but I know that I'm not probably getting as much value for my Embers as I will 2 months from now. So it's a little bit of damned if you do, damned if you don't on gearing. We're in a really weird, awkward lull for gearing as well as content. Here's the end of this. We've got the Uruk leader. And bounce on out. So yeah, the Delvings at tier 1 difficulty are barely more difficult than just running the missions without any difficulty set. Really, that they're there just to progress this wrapper, or the wrapper that I finished up, which got me the consumables box. And we'll do sifting through time. Actually, there's literally no sense in putting that on. Well, I'm still going to put it on at least tier 1 difficulty because I got lucky on one of my earlier tier 1 delvings and got a teal tracery box. So you still can get at least halfway decent rewards even if you don't get anything great. Avoid getting fear stunned there, because these guys love to do that. Did I just totally... Yeah, I've been totally missing these relics. Did I miss the one up here? No. Okay, I only missed the one. They shuffle around the locations that those artifact piles are in. So they're not always where I assume they're going to be. Like when I was just in here before in my champion, this room didn't have any. It's got 3 of them this time. Okay, so now the big question is, are there 3 more down here, or did I miss one? I see 3 in this room. Excellent. Just got a really weird distribution of them this time around. But but I will take it.
What can I do for you?
And what's in the delving box? Ten delving writs and nothing else. Some wood, some hides, and yeah, we're gonna destroy that because we don't need an auction house banner for a housing item. I think I already have 3 or 4 of
How can I be
those.
of service?
You tend to get the same things a few times. Okay, don't think there was anything else I really wanted to do mission-wise, but I got a pretty decent amount of stuff done. So I'm gonna put my good gear back in the bank here so I can put it back on my champion. Got one of my wrappers done on this character and got good progress on the others. Reasons why I love account bound gear. And unlike previously, because I've done this before, I'm actually going to put this character's gear back on so that if I go out and do other stuff, they're not almost completely ungeared. Ask me how I know how that one goes. And log in the minstrel for just a quick bit of Gundabad questing. I'm not going to do too much tonight. I really only planned for playing a couple hours, and I've already eaten an hour and a half somehow. I'm never quite sure how that ends up happening. Okay, I think I've already got ingredients on him for the day. Yep. So gonna take a quick bounce. I think that the stable master here will let me ride to one of the Gundabad locations. I just don't know if it's one of the ones that actually does me any good.
can I be of service?
So let's take a look. Where can I get to in Gundabad? Okay, good. I can get to Steep Set. And from Steep Set, I should be able to pick back up my questing. And let's see, where am I going? Oh, that's right. So I'm going to be going into Pit of the Stone Jaws.
Folk shall endure,
So
as we always
that is
have.
going to be Bargstad. Okay, so my quest in here currently is to search more of the crypts along the path for evidence of orcs. I'm gonna go all the way back up the road here. And I'm gonna stop and fight the Caregrum because I'm pretty sure he would try and eat me running past. And that clears the way. Get my anthems up and running, which I am terrible at remembering to do. I am the worst minstrel on the server. Okay, should be clear enough to ride for a little bit. Of course, as soon as I say that, I'm going to run into multiple mobs that horse me, but so it goes. These little guys won't attack, but the big bats will. So I'm going to attack them first, because they would have started it. So up ahead here is where I should have my next quest objective. But I just suspect that these guys are going to be a pain in getting my way. And there it is. There's a sword embedded in the rocks up ahead of me. A cruel sword of orc make is embedded here in the wall. Let's just see if I can check that out, because I can't pull that out. So I'm going to go further along and catch up with my dwarf buddy. And these paths are just choked enough with enemies along them that you can mount up and you'll get about 15 paces through and you run into the next thing that's going to try and eat you. It's almost not worth it as a toss-up as to if you're saving any time or not. So I'm just going to kill my way up the path. It's going to keep progressing Slayer deeds anyway, so could be a lot worse. And there's my buddy hiding by the wall there.
Did the orcs fight among themselves for the privilege of ransacking the houses of rest? Many other great stories.
Okay, so he wants us to look out over the edge into the pit. Yeah, it's kind of creepy down there. And the funny thing is, where we're looking is basically down into this area here, which we could have just rode straight into if we hadn't taken the detour and come all the way up this road to meet up with Bori.
It is just a legend after all.
Not that that'll come into play later or anything. But for the moment, we're stopping in and we're going to unearth this little area here that Bori's working on uncovering. If you're a dwarf, I really don't know why you need me to help you clear stone, but, you know, whatever. I'll help. It's an MMO, I'll do quests. And into the room to explore it. So this is actually one of the places where the kind of main storyline for Gundabad really starts picking up. So we're checking out the ruined mosaic here. And we can see that it is missing an absolute ton of stones.
Orcs or goblins have looted this room. It is a pity.
And Bori's saying, like, yeah, it looks similar to other stuff I've seen, but I can't really figure out what it is. So we're going to go all the way back to Bosi, who is, conveniently, down in the center of this place where we were just looking down into. So I'm going to ride all the way back down around. The Deep Claw would definitely attack me, so take him out first. Oh, and that bat will do the same, so might as well just keep running and fighting. Looks clear enough to mount for a while. Should be able to just ride past that Crystal Grim by swinging wide. And the bat I can outrun, and the Deep Claw's looking the other way, so I can get past him. My mount's still got a decent amount of health. He can take another hit or two before I get knocked off. And here's our road down into the pit we were just looking into, with all the hobgoblins gathering, and our dwarf friend is down there. So we're going to go meet up with him, but we got to fight our way through a lot of hobgoblins to get there, which I don't mind because there's a hobgoblin slayer deed here, so bonus. Plus, these guys also count for my current racial enmity deed on this character, because they are also orcs, which means I'm getting double credit for these guys. Triple credit if you count the XP. So it's absolutely worth it just to blast these guys from distance. Or from up close if they come and try and say hi. That guy almost just turned around and ignored me. He almost let me just walk straight through here. Really not a very good guard. Okay, I'm almost to the center, which is where I'm meeting my dwarfs. Just picking off some extra hobgoblins along the way, no big deal. Because again, since I'm here. Okay, so we've caught up with Bori, Bosi, and Broen, and our good buddy Imak.
Here, friend.
Good buddy.
Keep quiet. We must do something.
Okay,
about
so
this.
basically they've got plans for distracting the hobgoblins to let people past,
You need a distraction.
and they're pretty confident that they can be distracting.
Very well.
So we're gonna go to one side or the other, use the war horns we find there to draw forth and defeat hobgoblins, while the dwarfs take advantage. So just because I almost always go the other direction up that path, I'm going to go up this way. Little change of pace. Ooh, stealth mob there, that sneaky orc spy. Okay, how far up? Okay, that camp up there is where I'm going. So I'll get to this little turnoff here and head into the camp, kill everybody in there, and blow the horn. And then be distracting. Alright, here is the Horn of Battle. So I blow that, and we should get our named guy. Blow him the heck up. And we have caused sufficient distraction that the dwarves get to sneak past. And I'm going to go meet them. Don't think I can go around this way. Yeah, I think ultimately this is going to dead end around here because it swung me back around to this road. So back down the road I go. Never remember if the place I'm going is up above or... Oh, nope, that's right. It is through these hobgoblins here. I just have to fight my way through more of them. Then I think we meet Fastrith in the next area, because I think she's parked in there if I remember right. Still trying to work out which anthems I really want to prioritize always having up versus whenever I have enough to have two. So these are the three here. Dissonance and War are kind of the easy ones to get. Well, so is Prowess, technically. Prowess is much more melee focused. My strikes, my melee attacks don't have cooldown, and I do more melee damage. So, if I was in a fellowship and wanted to buff everybody's melee damage, that would be a good one to be running, but it really doesn't do me a ton of good because I'd rather not have to rely on melee so much. Anthem of the Free Peoples is heal over time with a boost, so nice for my survivability. That's not really a high priority for me in here. doesn't tend to be something that I grapple with on any pulls I can be reasonably careful with. So, good for an extra heal, don't really need it. So Dissonance, which is only takes 1 ballad, gives me bonus to cry and call damage, as well as just a flat bonus to my light damage, which is all of my core attacks do light damage. Whereas Anthem of War gives me a crit chance for Coda, which I rarely use because I like to keep my ballad buffs running. And it gives me an increased crit chance and just bonus damage. So it's really kind of a toss-up between whether the increased call, cry, and light damage is beat out by extra crit chance and blanket damage. Right, so there is Broen, who's off in the corner, but Broen, I still have hobgoblins here I'm fighting, so you're going to have to give me just a minute. Okay, so he says he's seen a dwarf woman hanging around here. He wants me to go talk to her and feed hobgoblins. I can do this. Get my Anthem of War up and running. And, yep, it's Fastrith. Fastrith is awesome.
Hearty greetings to you.
That storyline still cracks me up. And we'll just take these signatures out here, because they give decent XP and they go down all right. Oh, and I completed Enmity of the Orcs too, so I got a racial travel skill, but I got to have that trait equipped. It is a good one though, because nothing else gets you into that general area easily. And yes, I was lame on this character and I made a high elf minstrel just because I kind of never play high elves, so I figured I had to make at least one on a character I'm actually going to play. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the center and check back in with Fastrith there. And kill a few more of these guys along the way. Okay, I should have my dwarf buddies on the other side of the statue here, or what's left of the statue, rather. And here's Fastrith.
I am glad to see you made it back outside, as did these others.
Who is still working on her brother's contract.
Did I
And
hear her correctly? She is apprenticed to Stolly the Hewer. That is
Bori
infuriating.
noting how odd it is that we find a broken mosaic, and we have an apprentice stone hewer with us here. Boy, it's almost like there's these coincidences just piling up. Okay, so we're going to check back in with Fastrith and tell her about the broken
I
mosaic,
can certainly take a look.
and head in with her to check it out. So we get insta-teleported there.
Fortune smiles upon the Kabilaka, I think. Is there not an artist in Gundabad who might repair this broken mosaic?
Let's go see what she thinks about it. or run right past her due to lag, but that'll happen. So basically, they're going to talk about what they think has happened here and what the mosaic might have been. Yeah, Broen has a very good point that this doesn't look like just damage from time. This was very definitely somebody defacing this and chipping stones out of it. Yes, what could it be for any of us who have played through the end of the story? I wonder. Yeah, can we not bring Stolly into it? He's kind of a jerk. Yeah, and they're now remembering the mosaic that he had, and thinking that his is basically a copy of this one, and starting to piece together what they think was in this mosaic. And if we could find the stolen stones, like how many hundreds of stones have been taken off of this mosaic and scattered who knows where in Gundabad? Yeah, sure, that's a piece of cake. I'm sure we can find a bunch of stones, and specifically the exact stones, all of the exact stones that were taken from this mosaic over however many hundreds of years. Piece of cake. Oh, and now we're getting called from the other side of the chamber here. What could be going on? Danger? No. Everybody's favorite, nasty little worms. And now Uruk. Or Hobgoblin, technically. Okay, let's return to the others and prepare. Alright, come with us and let's prep for a siege. Come on, you want me to return to prepare, and I beat you back here, buddy. And Fastrus is just absolutely stoked by the notion that hobgoblins and Imac's take on it is just how many? Doesn't matter. It's some hobgoblins to kill. He does have a good attitude there. think there's one more wave here, and then I think we get a big one in the next. Never ask, was that the last of them? That is a question that always ends poorly. Oh, this actually, that's right, this might be one of the few times when that question doesn't end poorly. We only got the waves of regular ones. You lucked out this time. Okay, so that completes the broken mosaic. You come back out, check in with Imac,
About this chamber. It is the unpleasant
and he's going to
stench of
have us
ritual
talk
that
to our
assails.
other dwarf buddies here,
Someone
Broen
should
and
stay with
Fastreth.
Fastreth and keep her company.
Broen would like to go with us, but
I believe I will
and
remain here. if
Fastreth
you
is going to be here because she wants to examine the mosaic. So we're going to go out to the Witch Gate, which is basically into the next zone. There's a lot more side quests around here, but what I really want to do again is just keep progressing the main story quest on this character. So they go all the way up to the other side here into the 2 Care Bronick. That's the entrance, that's the transition into the next zone. And that will be at the Witch Gate. So with luck, I can basically just ride past these guys. Because then I'm going to have to ride all the way back up the other side through some orc encampments. Mounts at half health. I should be able to get the rest of the way. Okay, all the way down here. Then I've got to go all the way back to the orc camps. I may as well just clear the road at this point. And that ballad wore off quickly. So when I'm through this little area, I'm going to have to hang a right and take the path up past a whole bunch more of these hobgoblins. But again, all of these guys are good for XP and still 2 different deeds, because I've got Enmity of the Orcs as well as the General Region Slayer deed. So I get to triple dip. So there is the base Slayer deed for these guys in the region completed. Definitely not going to be sticking around, at least initially, long enough to finish the advanced, but it gets me some Lotro points, which does not hurt. Maybe able to slide past those guys. Yep. Had just enough space to get past those guys and not have to fight them. See if I can kind of... Oh, stupid orc spy. And I'm going to see if I can do the same thing on these camps here. Basically just get not close enough to either one of them to annoy the people in them. Okay. Oh. Thought I was home free. Turns out, not so much. And after I take out probably just one of these Karagrams, I should be able to ride the rest of the way without getting knocked off my mount. And make it to the zone line. With a bit of luck. Oh, but actually I do want to stop and kill this guy here, because he's going to drop a quest item that I can basically just take back to one of the NPCs in Steep Set and turn in for a reward. So I will stop and get my free XP. Okay, so he might have hurt me enough that I was looking at possibly using my shield, but still got him. And right here is the zone line. So this guy dropped a quest, which is I got his foot, so I need to take that back to an NPC in Steep Set. So we've arrived at the Witch Gate. Now we're going to go scout the Iron Pass beyond. And what I'm going to do instead, it's a cool little spot where we're coming out into a nice little mini snowy zone here, but this is kind of an outside zone in Gundabad. So Gundabad isn't like Moria where it's all enclosed. It also has these kind of exterior areas to it. So I'm going to ride through this initial area here. Just, you know, nice, creepy. Can't imagine why they call this place the Witch Gate. Looks perfectly nice. Welcoming. And I'm just going to basically beeline for the little settlement that's off to the right, I believe. Yes, it's off to the right. Grab that travel point before I do anything else. Because there's nothing worse than being into a new zone and realizing that after you leave, you didn't get a travel point that lets you get anywhere near it. So there's the little town ahead of me here. And among other things, it has a stable master.
Yes?
And it has various bounty board quests that I don't think I can even take yet, to be honest. But now that I've got that, it is past 2 hours time. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Let's just see. Anybody else is live and playing? Looks like Big Ed is playing on the main Lotro stream. So, perfect chance to bounce over there. Set that up and call it a night.